be funded moving forward, including efforts to widen I-15 north of Las Vegas, to replace the downtown access project, the I-15 viaduct, both of which will enhance safety, improve mobility, and have community connections improvements. Super exciting about what's to come. That same federal funding is also playing an outsized role in this project that is kicking off today, just outside our windows. The I-15 Tropicana Interchange project is one of the most impactful projects in Nevada history, and I am thankful for every speaker here today for playing a critical role in making that happen. And with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto.
Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with all of you. Want to welcome Secretary Buttigieg. Always welcome back to Nevada. So pleased to be able to join you with our incredible governor, Governor Sisolak, and the entire delegation that I get to work with every single day, focusing on the needs of Nevada and Nevadans. I am so glad to see us breaking ground on these key upgrades to the I-15 Tropicana interchange. Las Vegas, like many of us, it's my hometown. So I know how important this area is to the city. We need safe, reliable, and smooth transportation options so everyone can get to events on the Strip without hassles, and so workers and commuters can get around Las Vegas as well. That includes this incredible and critical interchange. It's needed an upgrade for safety and efficiency for a long time. I was so thrilled, along with the delegation, to help to secure over $50 million to help with its redesign. We're going to have more traffic lanes. We'll make it easier to access, as you heard from Congresswoman, the stadium, T-Mobile Arena, and other attractions downtown. We also really worked hard to ensure that the bipartisan infrastructure law would create thousands of jobs, good paying union jobs. It's exciting for our community and our state. Specifically, as we know, we want to ensure that we are opening up our community to our incredible gold standard of travel and tourism here throughout the state of Nevada. The delegation worked hard on many issues to make sure we were supporting Nevada. One of these was to ensure that not only funding was here for our roadways like this, but it also, we are looking at our airports, our transit systems across Las Vegas Valley, but also making long-term strategic plans for transportation solutions here in Southern Nevada and across this state. I also work to ensure key measures to benefit Nevadans are just as important, and we're funding those, like improving clean transportation, to bolstering the workforce development programs, to ensuring our infrastructure best serves our incredible travel and tourism industry. We cannot continue to lead as a world-class travel destination if we do not invest in our world-class transportation networks right here in our state. So, along with the entire delegation, I am thrilled to welcome Secretary Budej here to celebrate with us today. We are eager to continue working with the administration to support Southern Nevada's economic growth. We know that the transportation solutions we're implementing will strengthen our key industries in Las Vegas and make it possible for visitors and residents alike to get the most out of our city. So thank you for joining us today. I'm pleased to see so many of our dignitaries in the front row as well. Our great state treasurer, our mayor from the city of Las Vegas, thank you all for being here, our lieutenant governor. There's so many that support our community, from our chambers to our incredible union members who are on the front lines of our workforce that are actually making the difference in our communities every single day. So thank you. Now I am pleased to invite up to talk with all of you, a good friend, not only to me, but somebody who has been a stalwart for this state, making sure we are bringing back resources and support for our communities, for Nevadans, for our businesses, Senator Jacky Rosen.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Catherine. And Catherine is a great partner with me in the United States Senate, as well as Congressman Lee, Horsford, and Titus. And I gotta say, we got a great day to welcome Secretary Buttigieg here to the Allegiant Stadium overlooking the freeway. A little bit windy, but a perfect day. And of course, the governor, I want to thank him for his leadership every single day, getting us through all of what we've had to endure the last few years. I see many of our leaders here in the community. Thank you all for being here and your support. And we're just so glad to be together so we can celebrate the start of such an important project. It's going to create good paying union jobs. It's going to bring revenue to our state, our economy, and breaking ground on the I-15 project. It's just taking us one step closer to a safer, more prosperous future for our city. And this is a critical project that will make sure that Nevada continues to be the entertainment and tourism capital of the world. And we all know that this interchange is one of the key entryways to Las Vegas, to the Strip. It brings Nevadans and visitors from all over the world to see and enjoy, like Congresswoman Titus says, our world-class restaurants, our hotels, our casinos, our shows, our sports, football games, concerts, hockey. We got a Super Bowl coming in a couple of years right here. Also many special events at Allegiant Stadium. But by starting this project today, we're taking an important step forward to be sure our economy can continue to thrive. It's going to help us manage traffic better. It's going to make our roads safer for cars, trucks, pedestrians. It's going to replace a 60-year-old bridge. It's going to widen sidewalks, and it's going to modernize access ramps. And projects like this are, they're exactly why I was part of the bipartisan group of senators that drafted and negotiated the bipartisan infrastructure law, and I'm so proud to help kick this off with all of you. And thanks to this historic new law, our state is going to receive billions of dollars for projects that improve the roads like we're talking about today, our bridges, expand and modernize our airports like Senator Cortez Masto was mentioning, increase access to affordable high-speed internet up and down the state, access to safe drinking water, and so much more. Because we have to invest in 21st century infrastructure right here. It's transformative. And as chair of the Senate Subcommittee for Tourism, Trade, and Export Promotion, I am laser focused on making sure Nevada continues to grow as the entertainment and sports capital of the world. We have to do everything we can to continue our recovery from COVID and restore our travel and tourism industry to its full potential. So I want you to know I'm going to keep fighting in the United States Senate along with all of my allies and partners here, all of you, to be sure that you have the federal resources that you need to continue to do the good work that you do. So thank you, and now I'm going to introduce another leader in our delegation. It is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Congressman Stephen Horsford.
Thank you, Senator, and good morning. It's great to be here with all of you and to be able to welcome back Secretary Buttigieg to Nevada. Thank you for your tremendous leadership and everything that you're doing to make sure that we continue to recover. And guess what? Nevada is leading the nation in our economic recovery thanks to our governor, Governor Sisolak, and all of our delegation and local officials that are working so hard to make sure that every community and every person benefits in this economic recovery. I want to thank NDOT Director Swallow on the job that you are doing to improve transportation and infrastructure here in Nevada. As you know, I was proud to vote for the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Law. I love to say law. This is not just a proposed bill. It wasn't something that was discussed over decades. We got together, we got it done, and it's delivering for Nevada. We've already begun to see funds from the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Law be invested in a number of projects right here in Nevada. Many of these infrastructure projects have delivered more convenient transportation for Nevadans, and that is very important. I'm also pleased that these some of the newest of these events, these projects, and the reason that we're here today will renew our commitment to public safety, economic growth, and the betterment of all of our communities. The I-15 Tropicana Interchange construction project will provide the necessary investments throughout the entire region and improve our infrastructure. Even more vital is the creation of good-paying union jobs that we're so invested in creating. More than 4,500 jobs are being supported through the duration of this project through 2024. As many of you know, my roots in Nevada's labor movement run deep from my decade leading the Culinary Academy of Las Vegas, which has been the foundation for my labor advocacy now in Congress. Since coming to Congress, I have worked hard to ensure all of Nevada's unions are strengthened. That's why I will continue to advance the needs of Nevada's labor movement and projects like this. My experiences led to me becoming a founding member and co-chair now of the Congressional Labor Caucus. Projects like these give us the opportunity to continue strengthening America's labor unions and change the lives of working people in Nevada and across the nation. They demonstrate that the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Law is going to work for all Nevadans. It is so important for us to demonstrate that government can work for the people and that we can create good-paying union jobs with projects that will also improve all of our communities. So we are continuing to grow our economy from the middle out by ensuring that unions are strong. And we're going to build a better America. It starts here in Nevada with these union workers, one infrastructure project at a time. So again, thank you, Secretary Buttigieg, for being invested in Nevada. I look forward to continuing to work with you, our entire federal delegation, our governor, and our state officials to make sure that we continue to grow. Thank you very much. And now my colleague, who I have the honor of also serving with on the Problem Solvers Caucus, which led on the House side to make sure that the bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Law had the support necessary to again get across the finish line to the President's desk, Congresswoman Susie Lee from District 3.
Good morning. It's great to see everyone. As I look out on this crowd of business representatives, our labor brothers and sisters, Chamber of Commerce representatives, MJ from the RTC, our mayor, I think about the journey that we've been on for 2 years. I mean, think about it. We're standing in the Raiders Stadium, and when it opened, no one was in the seats. When this pandemic came along, we knew that our state and our city in particular was really on the front line of the potential economic devastation. But that was what drove all of us in Congress to make sure when we fought for the Families First Act, the CARES Act, and the American Rescue Plan, that our community was front and center when we thought about the aid that we needed. And we wouldn't be here today without the leadership of our governor, Governor Sisolak, in making sure that not only did we get that funding to our state, but that funding got out into the hands of people who were displaced, into the hands of small businesses. And so to me, today is such an exciting day because it demonstrates the resilience, the innovation, and the drive of this great city and every person who works here. And it's also such an honor to have the Secretary of Transportation here, Pete Buttigieg. And I sort of equate him to Santa Claus because the last time he came to town was to unveil a $40 million rebuild of Boulder Highway in Congressional District 3. So come back anytime, please, especially if you're bearing money like the $25 million that will be invested in this interchange in the bridge, Tropicana I-15 interchange. As Jacky said, or Senator Rosen and Horsford said, over a year ago, the bipartisan infrastructure law was dead in the water. Everyone was talking about this Congress cannot work together. But we were determined, because there is nothing more bipartisan and nothing more necessary, especially at the depths of the recession from the pandemic, that was needed than an investment in our country's infrastructure that had been negotiated time and time again. It was sort of a joke in Washington that every week was infrastructure week. And so we met. I remember Jacky Rosen joined me, and we had a group of governors, senators, House representatives in Annapolis, Maryland. And we were determined to get a bill that was a bill that could get past both Democrats and Republicans, because nothing is more bipartisan than the investment in our roads, the investment in broadband, the investment in water, which is so incredibly critical to our state here, and most importantly, the investment in good-paying union jobs. And the number I want you to remember today is 4,600. We are going to invest in this interchange, but what that will mean is 4,600 good-paying union jobs created right here in Southern Nevada. So with that, I think it is fitting that I call my friend and brother, Frank Hawk from Carpenters, up to the stage, who has been a true leader in making sure that our union is our unions are well represented, and that these jobs get, this money and investment gets turned into good paying jobs right here in Southern Nevada. So with that, I'll welcome Frank.
Wow, coming up here so late in the program, everybody steals your lines. My name's Frank Hawk. I'm the president of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. I've been in the construction industry for 38 years. And for 38 years, the term infrastructure has been batted around back and forth to the point that it's become a joke in Washington, D.C., as Congresswoman Lee said. You know, when it's Infrastructure Week, it was all superficial investments. There was a lot of talk, but nothing ever got done. So I'm so impressed and thankful of our leadership that we have here in Nevada with Congresswoman Titus and Congresswoman Lee, Congressman Horsford, and our Senators Rosen and Catherine Cortez Masto. Without them, we couldn't have had the leadership to get this bill turned into a law. And the fact that they were fighting so hard for transportation, tourism, and vital water infrastructure that our state so desperately needs. It's been an investment into not just Nevada, but also into our country. And also, I'd like to give special thanks to the leadership here of Secretary of Transportation Buttigieg for everything he's did into putting Nevada on the forefront. However, before we had any serious discussions in Washington, D.C., the governor of Nevada had a vision, and it was to build. And it wasn't just to build projects, but it was to build the people that build the projects and build the people in our communities. You see, this project at the gateway of our resort corridor opens the commerce and the free flow of traffic, so when we have our sold out concerts, when we have our Golden Knights games, when we have the Raiders playing, when we have our Super Bowl brought here to Southern Nevada, the machine keeps moving. And make no mistake, this is not just a capital improvement project. It's an investment into jobs. It's good paying jobs, jobs that have family health care, jobs that have pension plans. Probably the most important thing, it's jobs that invest into our youth with apprenticeship programs so we can build that next generation, so we can keep the machine going here. It's also jobs with a world-class contractor, Kiewit Infrastructure, that has this track record of safety that's second to none. It's jobs, jobs, jobs. And nobody understands that any better than our governor, Mr. Steve Sisolak.
Wow, thank you, Frank. I really appreciate that. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for being with us today on this very important day in the state of Nevada, particularly Southern Nevada. Union workers I see so many of them in the audience here today. Like Frank and his team helped build Nevada from the ground up. They helped build our stadiums and our resorts. They'll be integral to the construction of our newest project kicking off today. When we built T-Mobile, it was built with union labor, it was union strong. And they said we couldn't build Allegiant Stadium. The working men and women of Nevada built Allegiant Stadium. Now they're going to build this infrastructure. When there's a problem, when there's a task to be done, we turn to our union brothers and sisters, our union leadership, and they make it happen. And we are forever thankful for that. I want to start with my deep appreciation for all the members of our federal delegation that are here with us today, and so many of our state and local leaders for being. I'm especially thankful to Secretary Buttigieg, but I want to call out Senator Cortez Masto, Senator Rosen, Congresswoman Titus, Congresswoman Lee, Congresswoman Horsford. I've got Lieutenant Governor Cato Burkhead is in the audience, Chairman Yeager's here, Mayor Goodman's here, Treasurer Clonine's here. We've got everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. They know how important this is to our entire community and what this means to the working men and women. But we've also got Kristina Swallow, who has shown leadership on these projects to get them done. Nevada's infrastructure would not be what it is without your help, and we sincerely thank you for all that you've done for us and continue to do. I'm so glad to be here to officially announce the 15 and Tropicana Interchange project, which has been decades in the making. I mean, decades in terms of coming, and we're so thankful that we're really going to get started on this. This interchange is the access point to the world-renowned Las Vegas Strip for tourists and for many of our residents commuting to and from work. If they're driving into town, they're probably going to be getting off on the 15 at Tropicana and either going to the Strip or straight to Allegiant Stadium or T-Mobile for an event. This is the gateway to the entertainment and sports capital of the world, with sold-out concerts here at Allegiant and at T-Mobile, just on the other side of the I-15, and professional sporting events and first-class resorts, as many as 300,000 visitors on the Strip in just one weekend. 300,000. That's when you're going to ramp up as we host events like Formula One next year and the Super Bowl in 2024. Not only will hundreds of thousands of visitors make a trip to Las Vegas, but these events support our economy and provide tens of thousands of jobs for Nevadans. The stadium's already created thousands of new jobs, from construction to transportation, from small business suppliers to technical staff. It represents one part of a more diversified economic future. The project we kick off today will support more than 4,600 construction jobs through its duration. And I know we throw these numbers around pretty loosely, 1,000 here, 500 here, 4,600 there. I want you to think about 4,600 jobs. Those are the most important 4,600 jobs there are to those 4,600 people. To your members who are going to have a chance to go to work because of these jobs that are getting put on the ground. They can support their families, take a vacation with their families, buy their kids a new backpack or pair of shoes when they go back to school because of our investment in infrastructure and what our federal delegation has fought so hard to get for us. This interchange is the main road connecting tourists and locals alike to the heart of Las Vegas and so many major events. That's why we need to invest in safe and effective infrastructure. This interchange is 60 years old, almost as old as I am, not quite. That wasn't meant as a joke. It's required significant repairs over the years. It's needed major upkeep and reconstruction and became outdated with all the new technology that we have available to us today. The project will be adding safety features like active traffic management signs to reduce the number and severity of crashes. The updated bridge will also make it easier to get through traffic for our drivers that use it in their commute every single day. We've seen the massive crowds of people who walk from the Strip over to Allegiant, across Hacienda here, across Russell. With this upgrade, there will be more routes for event goers to take, with wider sidewalks and better lighting for the walk back to their car after that Raider victory. As we prepare for major events and increase traffic through our city in the upcoming years, we must invest now in infrastructure that will last and be effective as we grow. I'm proud to be here today with Secretary Pete Buttigieg, This project would not be possible without your help and leadership with the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. I'm going to say that one more time because it's extremely important. This project would not be possible today without the Secretary's leadership with the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and our delegation fighting for every one of these dollars for our state. This project is expected to start this year and finish in just 2 years, getting construction done that will have a fast impact on our traffic and our safety. And I know us locals in Las Vegas are happy it won't take very long. I want to again thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us in these functions. And thank you on behalf of the 4,600 families that are going to have an improved lifestyle because of union labor, because our union brothers and sisters can build it, and because they build it safely and like no other city in the world can do. So it is with my distinct honor to have the opportunity to introduce a friend of Nevada, an incredible public servant to the United States of America, and someone who has been a champion, not just for this project, but for projects nationwide, and a champion for the working men and women in the United States of America. Thank you very much for joining me, and with that, I'd like to introduce United States Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you, Governor, for the kind words. Thank you for your extraordinary leadership. Thank you for your understanding of the importance of infrastructure and challenging us to make sure we meet the pace that you have set here at the state level, together with the terrific work, Director Swallow, that you and your colleagues at NDOT are doing, that frankly didn't wait for solutions to come from Washington. To get the ball rolling, to lay the literal groundwork so that now that we have been able to deliver this Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Nevada is poised to take such quick and effective advantage of those dollars. Thank you to everybody who's part of this, union leadership, business leadership, people who understand that we're not just building stadiums or highways. When you have these kinds of construction jobs, you're building a living for people in Nevada and around the country. I want to thank Senator Cortez Masto and Senator Rosen, Congressman Horsford, Congresswoman Lee, and Congresswoman Titus, who joined us by video. I'll have more to say about them in a moment, but I just want to open by making clear that their support is directly the reason why we see this extraordinary infrastructure investment happening in Nevada and around the country. They have done so much to make it possible for us to have the tools that were just talked about by Congress after Congress, administration after administration, infrastructure week after infrastructure week, and now we are beginning a true infrastructure decade, and you can see it all around us. I want to thank all of the leaders from the local and the state level, the mayor, and everyone who has helped to demonstrate what it looks like when people team up to get results. And Frank, I want to thank you and the Carpenters for everything that you and all of the building trades have been doing in order to make this region a model for economic development that benefits people. I got to tell you, I'm having some very strong memories coming back to Las Vegas, not just because of the many visits that I was making here a couple of years ago when I got to know many of you well, but because of the last time I was here. It was in August. I was all set to do a whole bunch of events. We had that great event with Congresswoman Lee celebrating the work we're going to do to enhance safety on the Boulder Highway. And during that trip, I got the most disruptive and wonderful phone call of my life. We had been on a list for a better part of a year, hoping for a chance to expand our family through adoption. And got the call, and it was one of those surprise kind of calls that had me on an airplane as quick as I could be. In the next morning, Chastity and I were holding our newborn infant twins in our arms. So I just have all these strong feelings when I come back here because I have these associations with something that changed everything in my life, and I think about everything that's changed since then. Like every parent, my world has been turned upside down. Like every parent, I have a different relationship to the future now. now that I spend every day training my replacement in this world. I think about the infrastructure that we're building that they're going to count on for the rest of their lives. And of course, I've been thinking about everything that has changed, even just in that short, less than a year, since I was here last for this community. Because back then, we were still selling the idea of that bipartisan infrastructure law. And as some of the members of the House and Senate mentioned, it was declared dead many times last year before they saw it through and the president signed it on the South Lawn of the White House in November, some 6 months ago. And now, here we are, in a place that is experiencing such extraordinary growth in jobs, in population, in economic activity, which brings a lot of challenges to support that growth with adequate infrastructure to keep it going. And of course, communities that have faced the ups and downs more dramatically even than most around the United States in the last couple of years, and met them admirably. Again, under the governor's leadership, laying the groundwork, pun intended, for the kind of work that we see, funding for the first time the state's infrastructure bank, moving forward on important projects like the one that we're seeing today. And then we have this federal work that we're so proud of. We are helping communities across America, improving their infrastructure with roads and rail, trains and transit, ports and airport improvements, internet, water systems. It's the biggest effort of this kind in the better part of a century. We've already announced almost $1 billion headed to Nevada specifically, and that's just the beginning. And that's what brings us here today, to this terrific project. And so I'm thrilled to join the governor and the leaders here to celebrate the beginning of work on this I-15 Tropicana interchange. We're going to replace the old bridge, improve access ramps, double the width of the sidewalks, add advanced traffic safety features that are known to reduce crashes. Bottom line, dramatically improve people's travel into and out of the Las Vegas Strip. I know that a lot of people have been spending the last couple of years on Zoom, but as we've all felt now more than ever, real connection, real economic growth happens when people are together. Las Vegas knows that so well. And to be in person one way or the other, you have to move, you have to travel. Maybe it's just down the street, maybe it's from another state. Maybe it's on foot, maybe it's by car. You have to get from one place to another. And when we rely on generations old infrastructure to try to meet the needs of today, let alone to try to prepare for the dreams of the future, it leaves us wanting. It leaves us less safe, it leaves us less efficient, and it limits our economic potential. That's what we're fixing today. We're improving a road design that was set up long before Las Vegas looked the way that it did today. And so modernizing this intersection is going to help more people get to where they need to go more safely, more efficiently, and more reliably. And people get something else back that's right along, in my view, ranks right alongside the dollars and cents that are going to be brought into the economy and brought into family budgets through this work. People are going to get time back in their day. The only thing that we have at the end of the day. Time spent with loved ones. Time to think about what matters instead of being stuck in traffic. That's so important alongside the importance of these jobs. The over 4,000 jobs that we're so pleased to see that are directly connected to this project. But of course, there are all of the indirect jobs that are going to benefit from this as well. Later today, I'm going to be at the Carpenters Training Center, meeting with a number of representatives from the unions there and the people who are literally building America's future and operating it and maintaining it with those good-paying jobs that can become good-paying careers. But we would not be here if it weren't for the leadership of the folks you see on the stage with me. And so again, I want to thank Governor Sisolak for making clear that infrastructure would be a priority and for recognizing the importance of transportation and of infrastructure in creating not just physical assets, but livelihoods. I want to thank Senators Cortez, Masto, and Senator Rosen for their work in shaping this legislation and believing in it through all of these times when it has gone through those ups and downs and seeing it through. And you should know that they do not hesitate to get a hold of me when there is any opportunity they can think of for federal dollars to benefit the state of Nevada, as I would expect, and it's very much to your benefit. Representatives Horsford and Lee and Titus, who were there from the beginning, who knew why this was going to be so important, and stepped up in a moment when a lot of people were skeptical of the idea you could get a bipartisan anything law done in today's Washington, in today's divided Washington, and yet here we are. So successful that we're seeing what I consider to be the sincerest form of flattery in the policy world, which is people who didn't support it, wanting to be there to help celebrate the good projects that are getting done and are getting initiated thanks to this legislation. Now, the only thing that the former mayor in me loves more than a groundbreaking is a ribbon cutting. And so what I'm really looking forward to over the course of the months and years to come is seeing these extraordinary efforts come to completion. And then, most importantly of all, seeing the lives that are going to benefit from this work. It's not about the transportation itself, unless you're an infrastructure buff like me. It's about the lives that are going to be improved. And here in this community, whether it's for the people who come and go from this community, the people who have been here all their lives, that's what this is ultimately going to do. It's going to make everyday life safer. It's going to make everyday life a little bit better. And it's going to make this country stronger in the process. Thanks again for everything that you're doing. So glad that I could be part of this.
We're going to take some still photos. So if you want to come towards the podium, we'll get Frank and Director Swallow with you. All right. So if we could come, take steps inside, we've got Director Swallow and Frank on the podium.
Let me go to the other end.
That might work.
Yep, you gotta move down to the right.
Do you have everyone in there? Yes. Okay, so we're looking right here to start.
The press can start coming this way.
Do a few more here. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. We'll let everyone else get a couple in. All right, last call for photos. Okay, you all step down here. We're going to bring the press over for a little media Q&A.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Divya.
I was going to say, it was like 3 hours.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yep, yes. Yeah. All